Aurel Braun joins me from Toronto now. He's a professor of international relations and political science at the University of Toronto. Thanks very much for your time. Now, the comments from each side suggest the negotiation process is fairly complex. What are some of the core issues in these talks?
The sentencing of Brittney Griner has been extraordinarily harsh. This was almost the absolute maximum sentence that could be given. The offense was relatively minor. She was found to be carrying some minute quantity, 1 gram of cannabis oil in her luggage. She pled guilty to that. She said it was inadvertent, but she was sentenced to 9 years, and this is 9 years in a penal colony where she would be sent far from a major city and isolated. So the Americans want to get her out desperately, as quickly as possible, and Vladimir Putin seemingly wants to extract as many concessions as he can and humiliate the American administration as much as possible. So these will be very difficult negotiations, and these goals that I outlined nonetheless hide a logic on the part of the Russian president that is somewhat difficult to follow.
And do you think it was a tactic or a mistake to go so public with this case so early?
Well, in the case of Russia, the impulse to try to get the maximum out of this, Vladimir Putin has wanted to get back a notorious arms dealer, a Victor Bout, who is tied to the security services for some time, and this person might be put in the mix. But by having this very harsh sentence, by highlighting what is happening, by using this against an athlete who has no previous convictions, who is a person of color and who is gay, it has attracted so much attention that in many ways it exposed the flaws in the judicial system in Russia. And that judicial system is looking really bad. It is very clear that it is highly political, that this was not an independent and measured judgment, but this was reflective of the political control of the judiciary, and why Vladimir Putin would find this less than advantageous is something of a mystery, because strategically this can only be bad for Russia in terms of long-term relations with democratic countries around the world.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of the other examples of prisoner swaps between the US and Russia and how Griner's case compares?
Well, there has been another swap more recently, and again, that person had been sentenced to a harsh prison term. That person was released, but it has been made more difficult now because this is such a high-profile case, and whatever Mr. Biden does, he will be criticized domestically, either for being too forthcoming or for not moving quickly enough. And so I think previous cases do not really tell the story of the impact of this one, because this one has generated the kind of publicity that I would think the Russian president would want to avoid. It shows the kind of thin air. Whatever he is likely to gain tactically, he will more than lose strategically.
All right, Aurel Braun there. Thanks very much for your time.